ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Jasa, and today I'm here to talk about a great hospitality leader and legend of the industry, and this would be Bill Marriott, also known as J.W. Marriott or James Willard Marriott at that. And he was definitely one of the most successful people because he had the spirit to serve. This was one of his taglines. In fact, he wrote a book titled The Spirit to Serve, and that was the title of my research. A copy of that is available in every hotel room in a Marriott, by the way. So how did he do this? How did it start? Well, we'll take a step back and talk a little bit about the family story and how it started. J.W. Marriott Sr. was the founder of the company, and he did this by initially starting in the Washington, D.C. area and opened up a root beer stand called the Hot Shop. Eventually that expanded into over 100 locations and became a major part of the business. While they were in this hospitality and food service business, they also stretched into opening a hotel or two and a little bit of some concessions between airports and theme parks and so forth. And they're a big part of the food service business. And eventually they managed to get up to about 85 million in worth, and being back in the 60s, that's quite a bit. Bill Sr. established this living mantra that still exists today, and that's take care of your employees and they'll take care of your customers. And that really says a lot. And Bill Marriott carried on with that. In fact, in 1964, eventually he was promoted to become the CEO of the company. And when he took over, Bill Sr. said, I got two big pieces of advice for you. One, don't go into debt, and two, don't expand into the hotel business. Well, Bill Marriott didn't really listen to either one of those. He just believed in his core values. And those core values of leadership are what made him feel that if we take care of our people and our guests, the business will be there. And that's really a formula that did work. One of the first changes he made was to make sure that he called all of his employees associates as opposed to employees or crew. He was really a stickler for details, and he had a hands-on approach. He didn't believe in being in the office at the corporate headquarters. He was all about going out and seeing all the different places and visiting his hotels and his properties and being a part of the day-to-day on a regular basis and talking to his people and his guests on a regular basis. Eventually, this led into the standard operating procedures, which any Marriott employee will know will tell you is known as the SOPs. And one of those examples that even Bill was part of back in his days were the 66 steps to cleaning a hotel room. Can you imagine the detail of that? He was really big about taking care of his people. This was really the core value that mattered the most. And so he believed in using these 5 guiding principles as his operating procedure to his people. So we'll review them quickly. Number 1 was get it right the first time. This had a lot to do with hiring the right people for the right job and making sure that they believed in the core values in the Marriott way. And if you inspired them, then they would be retained and they would become a long-lasting team. 2 was that money is a big thing, but it's not the only thing. He would survey his staff, his associates, and say, what's important to you? Well, in many cases, they would say, yeah, money's the most important thing. They had a lot of questions, and when they would evaluate the whole package, they'd realize that it wasn't really having money didn't have anything to do with whether they'd stay or leave the company, or very little anyway. It was usually the work-life balance and the training and the high-quality leadership that they worked within and the family values. Those are the reasons why they said, you know what, I'm working for a good place and I'm going to stick around. A caring workplace is a bottom line issue. So this has, again, to do with that quality leadership. Each department manager was expected to have a 15-minute meeting with their staff at every shift. They would always carry a card that would have these 20 basics of high-quality service. And, for example, number 1 had a lot to do with teamwork, but they would recite one of those basics, and then they'd begin their meeting. Of course, they'd talk about some important issues of the day and what's going on and what they need to know, technical things, but they would always open the floor to try to say, hey, is there anybody that has something that they need to talk about in regards to needing some help with their family or their personal lives? They really wanted to promote the idea of being a family. Number 4 is promote from within. which generally speaks for itself, but they always believed in trying to look to their own people before trying to hire from the outside, so people would always have the feeling that they were in a company that they had an opportunity to grow. Number 5 was to build your brand, and this was kind of geared again around staff. So he wanted people to think that, to know that this is a great place to work. So if you're going to talk about it, then there's a commodity in a hotel room or a hotel or a place to work. But what sets it apart is the brand, it's the reputation, and that's what he believed in. So by taking care of his people, he generally had people that would want to speak well about working for Marriott. Therefore, people would desire to come to work for him. Speaking of brand expansion, so back in the beginning when he decided to go into debt, and he ended up selling like a third of the company to raise capital and start opening hotels. And his style was, let's go ahead and build more hotels, let's perfect them, let's sell them off, let's build more Marriotts. And that's what he did. And eventually he managed to saturate most of the big city markets with the Marriott hotels. So he reached out to some of his guest base and said, what are you looking for? What can we do now? And most people said that, the business traveler, the vacationers, they want a clean place at an affordable price and safe. So we realized maybe that motel market was kind of out there too. And that's when in 1983, he ended up opening the chain known as the Marriott Courtyard, which has been very successful. And by 2003, they've actually opened up over 500 locations, and they're growing even still today. Then in 1995 and 1997, they managed to respectively acquire the Ritz-Carlton Company and the Renaissance Hotels and Resorts. And at that point, it became the largest luxury hotel company in the world. And then he continued on with more brand building. So there was the Host Marriott, which is the Host Marriott Service, which is like a commissary type of management company that handles, the airports and hotels and contract food service. And then the Fairfield Inn, Spring Hill Suites, one over his own name, JW Marriott, senior living facilities, timeshare, over 12 brands in total. But he didn't stop there. Realized with all these different enterprises going on, we need to know that we're getting the right thing for the right price. So he partnered with the Hyatt Company and Club Corp USA and built Avendra, which is now a purchasing consortium where they can buy the best product for the best price, negotiate good deals, keep things consistent. And at this point now, they're the largest hospitality procurement company in the world. Didn't stop with that either. Decided, we have all of our property management systems, which is really the computer system that runs the hotel, brains of the operation. And they have to talk to central reservation systems for the reservations, and on an international traveler market, there's the global central reservation system. And these used to all have to be able to talk to each other. He said, you know what, let's just make our own system that does it all for us. That's when he partnered with Micros Fidelio, which is a primary point of sale system. And they managed to create the Opera Central Reservation Property Management System. And now all Marriotts are operated by this, but everything talks in real time. So for example, if John Smith is staying at Miami, South Beach Marriott, and decides, and they know he's coming, and they have some kind of little database from one of his prior stays that he really likes chocolate, and they're probably going to have some chocolate waiting for him in his room. These are the kind of things that become a little extra step of service. So anyway, my reflections. I've thought about my own experience, and Bill Marriott has definitely been somebody that has inspired me as I've done this research. I realized that, he was definitely a successful businessman, but he was more about his core values and taking care of his people. And it's made me realize how important it is to have a strong team, treat them right, and eventually they'll be able to take care of the guest. Bill Marriott has definitely proven to be a visionary, a great businessman, and a hospitality leader. And it was all basically due to his spirit to serve. Thank you very much, and have a great day.